Good morning, everybody. We're jumping right into this. We're not doing an intro. We're not doing anything. We're just getting right to have so many things I want to talk to Chris about today. And what you didn't realize that he was on a call until just like 3 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So usually we like to have like a 10-minute test before we go live, check audio, video settings, just in case something goes wrong. And sure enough, 1 minute ago, he finally calls on Skype, and we're having some issues, but that's all right. I think it should work fine. Chris, good morning. How are you, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm a little tired. Last night, my wife and I, we downloaded a game on PS4, Streets of Rage 4. And we played that, like the two of us, because she's not a gamer at all. But it's just like that old school 2D platforming game. So we did that for, until almost midnight. So I slept in until 4:45 this morning because I was tired. Are you there?
Wow, that's pretty good.
Oh, man.
I'm here. We're all good now.
Okay, we're all good. Yeah. And actually, when I first started playing that game, in your neck of the woods, actually, every Monday night, Christian music night at Apostles roller skating rink.
Yeah,
I went there for
that.
probably 7 years, like middle school through graduation. I went at like 52 Mondays a year. I was there 48 out of the 52.
Yeah.
Every year. I loved roller skating. Is that place still there, actually?
Yeah, the roller rink is still there, and it used to be Apostles Skate City. And
Apostles,
then
yes.
that was this place. It still is a great place. They still do a lot of roller skating, a lot of events, and a lot of people have a lot of fun out there. It's a lot of Saturday mornings. Remember when they switched from roller skating to big dance clubs? I mean, it was a big dance club back in the day, and we had to do a lot of law enforcement activity out there. They drew a lot of people.
Yeah, I went there once, and I never went again. That was just not my kind of crowd. I mean, I'm used to going to, Monday night Christian music night to dance night on a Friday night, and, it wasn't my crowd, man. I'm like, no, thank you. I'm leaving.
How come I can't picture that in my head yet? I just can't picture
me roller skating. That was great. And actually, funny story, that's where I met my wife. So my wife, Drusha, her older brother, Jason, was my best friend growing up. So every Monday night, he and I would go down to roller skate. And like it is with big brothers, or wherever they go, you go. So She was always with us. And funny story, skipping, 30 years later, I moved back up here, or 20-some years later, and then I see her around, and then we start talking. Next thing you know, we dated and got married. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, that was a nice
Dryden's life story.
Yeah, that was a nice letter of appreciation you put up to law enforcement yesterday.
Yeah, it was a law enforcement appreciation week, and we had dispatcher week, we've had jailer week, and this is law enforcement Memorial Week. It's really to remember all the officers that gave the ultimate sacrifice, and we've known that it usually doesn't hit the North Woods, and the North has been hit. Over my career, we've lost two officers, Dan Glaze and Mike Baraboo, and those are the officers that that I remember and that I was in law enforcement and dealt with, and really that's what this week is about. But I also want people to recognize we not only think about them, but we thank all of our officers that do a tremendous job of law enforcement in Northwest Wisconsin. I've said it 100 times on this show, this is the best place to be a law enforcement officer. One of the radio stations just called me, and they're going to call me back at 9:30 because there's some survey out there about the law enforcement. They rated all the law enforcement officers in all the states in America, and Wisconsin falls in the middle, and he was wondering what I think about law enforcement and how it is to be a cop in Northwest Wisconsin. And I truly believe that this is one of the best places to be a cop in the whole world. We have the support, there's a little action to keep us going, but it really is a great place to be a law enforcement officer, whether we're in a pandemic or not, but it's just a good thing to do. And sometimes our jobs everybody doesn't like us, and we don't do a survey at the end of our job. Be like, hey, how was your stay in the jail, and how was our pillow service? And we don't take a survey.
Customer feedback form.
Yeah, we don't do that in the jail. People write letters and like, I didn't like the pillow. I'm like, well, I got a solution. Don't come back.
Yeah, well, there you go.
But it's not like that. I mean, we care about the people, even the people in our jail. Our jailers do a tremendous job. But it's think about all the people that have given the ultimate sacrifice in this job, and think a law enforcement officer this week when you're driving around, you see him at Quick Trip or wherever you see him, wave to him with all 5 fingers, wave to him, and just thank him. And well, it's kind of somewhat of reality. I mean, right now, this Republican versus Democrat, we've had a lot of side conversations about this over the past few months, and we've got to get over that. And some of these attacks that we have on Facebook, where it's really easy to attack something that somebody else doesn't think about because you're not in front of them, you're not facing them. And we have these attacks, this verbal attack, or I don't like you because you did this, and you shut down small businesses, and you've arrested somebody, and you've done this, and that's not what it's about. That's not what law enforcement is about. It's not what I stand for. I stand for the people of Barron County, and I can't please 44,000 people. I have 44,000 bosses in here, and I can't please them all. There's no way. If you think about that, and we do the best for what it is for Barron County, what I believe in. Some people don't believe in that, and that's just the way it is. And I feel bad for those people. I understand their point of view. I just want them to understand my point of view. But beyond that, we've got to take politics out of law enforcement. I've tried to do that as the sheriff of Barron County, been supported by both Democrats and Republicans. Again, I've been supported by the people of Barron County. I don't care what's next to their name, an R or a D or a whatever. The people of Barron County support our law enforcement officers, and that's all I want. Yeah. And I think that's important. But we took over. I think it was almost 60,000 calls, and we put 2,000 people in jail, and there was 14,000 911 calls. And that people don't understand the volume of calls that we get in law enforcement, and I just wanted to point that out. And over the past couple of years with the tornado and the Kloss case, this community has backed us when we needed it, and we're here for them on a daily basis, and we appreciate that.
Do you think sheriffs should be a partisan position?
I wish they were. I understand that they're not. I wish they were. I wish they were, like judges. But everything, we talk about this all the time. Everything has become so political, and we've got to remove some of the politics from this. It seems like this, shutdown or, the governor's order is a Republican versus a Democrat. And and I wouldn't want to be in the governor's shoes. Do I wish all the businesses were open? Yes. But I also hope that we don't get any more cases when we do open up businesses. And I understand we're going to get some more. I understand that, and I understand the livelihood of the people. And we've been working with businesses, and it's it gets to you once in a while that these people are attacking you for like shutting down my business. I'm like, I haven't shut down anybody's business, and
right.
It can get to you.
It
and
just
you just
absolutely does. And I'm sorry to interrupt. I was recently speaking with someone, and your name came up. And they were voicing some frustration with, not frustration, it was, in Barron County, because the sheriff there's a Democrat. And I'm like, what? First of all, stop talking now. I mean, have you talked to him at all? Do you know anything about Chris at all? Because, yes, he's a Democrat, but that has nothing to do with how he's running the county or how he is as a sheriff. It just doesn't. How does anyone make that leap? I don't get it.
And that you're in the media, and the media doesn't always get a positive spin. And the Kloss case was a perfect example of how the media and law enforcement work together. I mean, I needed them. They wanted the story. We worked together. We got information out there to try to help, a young girl. And you put stuff up, and there, you put an ad up there for whatever, and you're like, I wonder how many people are not going to like this. And it's the grocery store ad.
Right.
That's just. But somebody can find something wrong with every little thing you do, and you just can't do it. But you're right. I don't run a sheriff's department. We don't answer the phone when you call 911 and say, hey, if a Republican, it'll be a 5-minute response. If you're a Democrat, it'll be a 6-minute response. We don't do that. I mean, and I get it. And you know what? Every 4 years I get to run for my job. I plan on running again. I plan on being the sheriff for a long time. I love my job. I love Barron County. I love the support we have. I love our department. I have the greatest department. I know every sheriff thinks that, but I'm really proud of my department. I have 78 strong here. My only goal is for them to have all the tools they need to go home safe to their families. That's what it's about. And the next part is then serving the citizens of Barron County. And that's what this is about. This isn't about a Democrat or Republican or enforcing Governor Evers' law or not, or, it become too political. It's sad. And that's why we came up with Positive Tuesday. I'll agree. I mean, we've got to come up with some positive stuff.
Yeah.
I just got off another call where a group of people in Barron County are looking, they raised some money. They're looking to give it out to certain people and certain groups. That's what this is about. This is about supporting the people who need us most at this time. Sometimes that's our small business. And again, we worked with a lot of businesses. I think Barron County's taken a bad rap because of the things that are going on in Polk County. We've helped businesses. We have not shut down. We haven't chained anybody's business up. We haven't, put our people outside with guns and said, no one can enter this business. I mean, that's what they make it sound like on Facebook and
Right.
on the news. Like, all these cops we literally have riot gear on and we're ready to go. I'm like, we're not doing any of that. And it's just, people just need to take a deep breath and work together, and we need to get our small businesses open. We need to do all of this.
Well, one of the things about you, you and I don't have a lot of parallels between your job and mine, but there are some. And one of them is that you're on DrydenWire. You send out press releases to media. You do interviews with just what anyone asks. Like, that's my job. And if you have questions, I'm going to answer those questions. But the more you do that, the more you're putting yourself out there for scrutiny, the more you're putting out there for criticism. And that's tough. People don't realize it's actually really difficult to make sure that you are always available, that you will answer any question. I mean, not just on like Facebook, because that's stupid. Don't answer questions on Facebook. But it's not as easy as you think. It's almost like some people, I think, kind of like politicians, let's stay behind the radar because I don't want to rock the boat and I don't want... Let's face it, there's not a lot of either sheriffs or politicians, or there are some that they just don't like putting themselves out there. And that's something I've always appreciated about you, is that I will answer your questions and I'll talk to you directly. I don't know. I think sometimes people forget that just because they see you all the time, now you're turning into a person that's easily attackable.
Oh, very much so. And I appreciate that, because that's something that through this I've really realized that I don't do this to be out there and, man, if I'm on DrydenWire today, I mean, it's my goal in life, well, which it is.
You literally just texted me that last night and said...
So, but you're right. When you do put yourself out there, it'd be easy for me to sit at my desk and say, I don't know, this is a public health issue, and some days I wish I'd do that, but also some days I answer to 44,000 people and they deserve an answer for their question.
Yeah.
And I've tried to answer. I still have a couple people I need to get back to that I know what they're going to tell me that I'm wrong. And, right now it's really confusing because today's the end of the 60 days and I don't even know which way. Law enforcement doesn't know which way to go right now.
I don't think anybody does.
No one does. And it's a little disheartening. And that's where the politics get drug into this issue. And from a law enforcement standpoint, we try to keep the politics out of it. But right now we're waiting for Supreme Court to make a decision. Small businesses are waiting for this decision. And no one wants to make a decision. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to be the governor. I don't want to make that decision. Yeah. But we're going to do what's best for Barron County. We're going to help people open their businesses when it's legally and they can. I talked to again, a lot of people are blaming law enforcement for Laura Save and myself and Chief Roos speaking at the Rice Lake City Council and saying, you shouldn't do this. Well, everybody's like, we're against small business. No, but there's a lot of businesses that didn't open because their insurance company didn't let them or their license wouldn't let them. It had nothing to do with law enforcement. It had nothing to do with the city of Rice Lake. It had nothing to do with a city council person or public health. It had to do with their insurance or their licensing. And so, but again, because I am not afraid to take a shot, I get shots taken at me, and I've got big shoulders, and sure, some days that gets to you, but you got to remember, I was again doing stuff like this and reaching out to the people in Law Enforcement Week and the group that I just met with before this that is trying to give away money. Those are the good things that we do in Northwest Wisconsin, and I wouldn't trade it for the world right now.
No. It reminds me, you said earlier that you have Republicans that have supported you and Democrats that have supported you, and you're in Barron, and Romaine Quinn in Barron, who's not running anymore, kind of reminds me of that a little bit. And I get it if Democrats may not like him or what, I don't care. But similar situation where he puts himself out there. He's very present. He's engageable. And, that similar to your situation, makes it a little tougher. But I wouldn't want my sheriff and I wouldn't want my representative to do it any other way.
Right.
I mean, just own it. That's all. Just own it. Like we made a decision, and this is why, and I'm here and available to answer any question that you have. We may disagree, but I'm going to tell you what's what.
Right. And you're right. And that's the bad part about being that is I love my job, but someone may run against me in a couple of years, and that's their right to do. It's their right to run whoever wants to run. I mean, Romaine had opponents. I've had opponents, but we've always stuck to what we believe in, and I respect Romaine for that and have supported Romaine for that, and he's helped Barron County out, and I appreciate that. But yes, you get the negative with the positive. I've always said that. I get the good with the bad here. As 78 people is all I care about. They go home to their families at the end of their shift, and the citizens in Barron County are protected.
Don't worry. If somebody does run against you, I won't let them come on the show.
Okay.
No. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
And speaking of down there in the 75th, there's now another candidate running for Romaine's seat, because it was Dave Armstrong, who's the executive director of the Barron County Economic. Right. So he's announced, and then John Allanson announced, I think yesterday.
Right.
I don't know much about him, but is he the dad of the guy that was in the NBA for a while, or maybe still is? I'm not sure. I don't know anything about him. Do you know anything about John?
Yeah, I know the family. I know Dave Armstrong. Obviously we've been working with Dave. We were just on before the other meeting this morning. I was on with Dave trying to help small businesses out, and Dave works for economic development. John Allanson is a member of a community. He works in the Barron School District. His son did play in the NBA. All of his kids are great athletes. They're from Rice Lake. My daughter played on the girls varsity team with his daughter. When she was a senior, my daughter was a freshman. So they played together. And so I've known the Allansons for a long time, and they do a lot in our community, and has nothing to do with his son being in the NBA. John's a great person. He just received an award with the Barron School District for one of the top counselors. They have a counselor team here in the Barron area school district that got an award. And so, for helping out kids, and they deserve it. Barron School District's been through a lot with obviously the Kloss case and that. So John's done a good job, and I read his thing on DrydenWire, and he wants to take a little bit of the politics out of it, and I hope he can. And Romaine did a pretty good job of that too, of taking some of the politics out of it as much as you can, without you've got to stay. He's a Republican. He has to stay true to some of those beliefs and what he believes in, and obviously some people don't like that. So. But excited that welcome that, and obviously you don't want anybody to ever run against you. I don't want somebody to run against me as sheriff. I love my job. I don't want to give it up. But if the people of Barron County want someone new, that's their right. I don't believe that'll happen in Barron County. I believe I can be your sheriff for a long time, and I'm looking forward to that. And that's a challenge every day, and that's what's exciting about. That's why I enjoy politics somewhat. That give and take of politics is what it's about. Making people mad sometimes. Yeah, sometimes you do, but you stand up for what you believe in, what you believe is right for Barron County. And I get advised by a legal team here in Barron County. My job is to make sure the county doesn't get sued, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, liability people forget about. They really do. That is, if anything I've learned from my father, I've learned a lot from my father, but when it comes to his role when he was a sheriff, every time I bring something up or ask something, he always immediately goes back to look at the liability. And that's a component that I never really thought about before, but you have to consider that. That is a significant portion, and it may feel good right now, and it may hey, let's do it. Be careful. There could be some consequences to this. Do you ever run into a situation as the sheriff where you see this and you are contemplating how is this going to look from a Republican versus Democrat side? When you're going, I don't care about that. Yes, I'm one, but that has nothing to do with my decisions. My job is to enforce the law. Do you ever run into those situations? Were you worried about, oh boy, if we do this, I know what they're going to say. And if so, does that impact your decision making at all?
It can't. Sure, you have to think about it, and of course it does. And but it can't impact your decision making. You have to do what you think is right. And I see some of the comments. I mean, and some of them are negative today.
Oh,
And
I haven't looked.
that's yeah. I'm just looking at some of them, and
Awesome.
and but that's just how it is. And I'm enforcing the governor's order. We did for 60 days because we believe the governor had that right for 60 days. We're at 60 days now. If a bar opens right now, we're taking no action at this time against anybody until the Supreme Court makes a ruling. It's at the highest court in the land. It can't get any higher. Obviously, it can go to the U.S. Supreme Court. Right, it could. But we're at the highest court in Wisconsin. They'll make a decision. We hope they rule in favor of in the business, but we believe the governor had action for 60 days. That's why most people closed on their own. We didn't have to shut any businesses down when this took place. Now they all want to reopen. We're at 60 days. I don't see a big issue with these businesses opening. Most of them can open. Bars and restaurants, they're still under the order. But right now, we don't know. Even the counties association doesn't know which way to go with this. And so we hope the Supreme Court rules, but we're not taking any enforcement action. We haven't taken any enforcement action. And again, so we can talk about that. So
let's go back a second. So when Evers put this out, and again, I don't want this to be Governor Evers, the Democrat. We'll just say the governor, because it doesn't matter. It could have been Scott Walker who did this too. Don't care about that part. Mm-hmm. Looking back, hindsight being what it is, and we can all play Monday morning quarterback. But from a law enforcement perspective, what decision could have been made, or a communication, or what could have helped you in your capacity as a sheriff during this whole thing? If we kind of do an after action report and then you send it down and say, okay, next time, what is that? What?
Well, I think you had Voss on your show on Friday, and I think working together would have been a lot. I understand that he had to take an immediate action, and I don't think you take your immediate action because he's given 60 days. The legislature made that law years and years and years, way before any of us, that the governor can take 60 days in action. The president can go to the war. It's just that the war can't go on for so many days. Whatever the rules are, I don't know them all. But you take that action, and then you immediately call a special session or whatever they do, however they meet, however they do their topics, and Romaine's a better topic. He understands that politics of it way better. I think they should have met as a joint right away and tried to come up with a plan. Mm-hmm. I think that would have solved a lot of these issues. It wouldn't have made any one of us a target. You got to remember there were 72 sheriffs in the state of Wisconsin. 70 of the sheriffs are on the same page. 2 are not. Mm-hmm. And it's just that one of them is very close to Barron County, and that hurts Barron County and really put us in a bad spot. So
did you get communication? I guess when you find out, like the safer at home, turn the dial to. Do you get this information before that stuff goes out, or the Badger State Sheriff Association, or does anyone get this, or are you literally finding out what's happening via press releases?
Via press releases, exactly.
That's bizarre.
When everybody. Yeah, and that was some of the frustration from a sheriff standpoint, and I know public health standpoint is that these decisions, and I don't, like you said, take whoever the governor is out of it. He's going to have to make some direct decisions. Yep. You can't sit and let's go into special session and wait for this other stuff's going on out there. We need to close down some of the stuff. It's just like on 9/11 when the president took action, he had to shut down the airspace. He didn't call a special session to say, hey, should we shut down the airspace? Yeah. Let's not. We need to make some direct actions, and then got everybody together in the room and made some decisions. And I think that's and some of these negative votes, I can send you all kinds of emails from people that said thank you enforcing the governor's order. So it's about 2-to-1 probably positive versus negative, but it's with anything. When it was the Kloss case, whether it was the tornado, you didn't do this for me, you did this for them. It doesn't matter the topic. That's politics. Romaine would say the same thing. That's just politics of it. Yeah. And I understand that and happy to have. But again, when you put yourself out on these shows like this, you're going to get some of that. I'm okay with that. Again, it's more about keeping our people safe, making sure they have the tools to do their job in law enforcement. We haven't seen a big uptick in crime. We support things like Embrace. There, we got our segment in. So So now the girls can't complain.
Uh,
So, but but it's people like, and it's Lori at the Benjamin House, and trying to make a difference in some people's lives. That's what our job is about. It's not about this, and people can do it and say whatever they want. We have the best county around. We make the biggest difference in people's lives, and that's what it's about.
So I have your 21 things you might not know about me in front of me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to read them all. So we used to do this thing where we had,
Right.
oh, I forgot. Maybe we should do that again. But it was a 21 things you might not know about me, and then we'd have just ask random people like yourself, and to just send in, 21 things. Your 21st one, so your last one said, "I love being your sheriff. It's the best job in the world." You still feel that way?
Oh yeah, I do. Some days it takes a hit, but it keeps on ticking. I don't know. I suppose I can't use that. That's a battery commercial. But
Yeah.
But, I truly do love it.
You wanted to be a
enjoy
cop
it.
since you were 5. That was number 1 on your 21 things. This was from August of 2017, by the way. So this is like 3 years old. We should get an updated thing. So you want to be a cop since you were 5 years old.
Yeah, I've always wanted to be a cop. I worked for Rice Lake Police Department. I worked for Barron and Cumberland and Cameron Police Departments growing up and going to school and got my degree. But it's just, I still love it. And even on days like this, and those people can, it's a tough time, and I appreciate it. And I just know there's a lot more positive than negative out in the world, even in our jobs. And sometimes that's tough to do in a jailer situation, when everybody that comes in is kind of a bad guy, or is allegedly to be a bad guy. But you know what? We have 40 plus programs all run by volunteers and some of our jailers, and they've changed people's lives, and that's what it's about. And I'll take all that negative. If we can change one person's life, that's what it's about. That's what our people do every day, is try to go out and make a difference. They don't go out to enforce laws or to do whatever we want. It's to go out there and make a difference in someone's life.
Yeah, and you have to be a verbal punching bag. That comes with the gig. It just does, because when you're at the top, that's where it stops, man. So, and that's just part of it. And that's not really that enjoyable. I don't think anyone actually likes it, because let's face it, we all want to be liked. Everything we do, I mean, we all want to be liked. But I think just at the end of the day, you go home and you felt, I did the right thing for the right reasons, and there was no agenda behind it. I did what I thought was right. Sure, you can look back at it the next day and go, well, if I had a chance to do it over again, maybe I would have done something differently, but not a regret. So, and by the way, this is funny. I actually didn't even read this before we started, because I forgot about it. Where is it here? Oh, number 7. I have been on national TV due to the recent tornado in Chautauqua. We really need to update.
Yeah, I've been on a little bit more.
Yeah, and you don't drink coffee?
I don't drink coffee.
That was funny, because Robin Voss, same thing. So I always do my sound test in the morning before we go live, and I always ask, what did you have for breakfast? And he said, water. I'm like, okay, I need like 5 or 10 seconds of you talking to do the audio check. And I'm like, wait, but you didn't have coffee? He goes, nah, I can't stand coffee. So I don't know what's wrong with you. But you do say that you like donuts a lot.
Yeah, I'll eat a donut. I like Mountain Dew. And we should get, like we always talked about, we should get some ad. We can have a commercial in the middle of this, and someone can sponsor. Sure. Maybe not my show, but when you have people like Speaker Voss on the show, I mean, that's
we
a
get a
pretty
sponsor.
big deal.
And then we'll get a sponsor. We'll donate it to, I don't know. We'll donate like 50% of the proceeds to, I don't know. Don't you guys have foundations for something like Canine Foundation or anything?
Sure, we have a law enforcement foundation.
Yeah, there we go.
Canine Foundation. But let's go. We're doing good, and I just, right, crime isn't up. We're doing great. We've got a lot more traffic complaints this weekend. The weather's going to be nice. We're going to be out. I don't know if we're back doing traffic enforcement, but we're back out there. We're doing a lot more traffic enforcement than we were. So we're having a lot more contact with people. I want people to go out and go to the parks and go camping and go for hikes and do whatever. I mean, let's get this back open. We're ready for this. People are ready. I want these small businesses to open back up. Let's have a great weekend. I mean, the weather's going to be perfect this weekend.
It's going to be a gorgeous weekend. We already have the Turn the Dial number 2, right? The second thing from yesterday. So that's going to help out. I get it, not all businesses, but it's a start, right?
The
So,
drive-in movie theaters open. Actually, there was a neat report last night that, I don't know how many drive-in movie theaters are in Wisconsin. Not many. We have one right here in Barron County,
oh,
and we've been trying to work with them and get them open. Again, public health has been working with them. The sheriff's department hasn't been going locking their gate at night. Where like there's really some people that think we've been out there locking people's gates and businesses up. We haven't, and that gets frustrating. And I'm becoming more passionate about that because
wait, yeah. Well, hold on a second. Who you say is it like just
Well,
on your Facebook page? Are you getting
yes.
like actually legitimate like phone calls, not
Oh, yeah.
being upset, but just concerned? Like, oh, this is what I'm hearing. Is that true? Are you getting those calls?
Calls, emails,
What?
Facebook messages, and you can't trust everything on Facebook. And I agree with that. We can't. We understand Facebook, but yeah, when a citizen calls me, a taxpayer calls me, I listen, always, and I always call you back, and I always answer their questions. Again, but we want the drive-in movie theater to open. They open tonight. They're having drive-in movies out there. You can go out there and social distance and go to this drive-in movie. So there's things opening back up. Laura Savi's been trying to work with them to get them open. We got their concession stand open last week, so they were ready to go. They were serving some food over the weekend for people that wanted to drive out there and just see what the movie theater was like. Maybe not go to a movie, but it really just kind of promote them.
Yeah.
So it's, again, a lot of our businesses are open, and we're ready to get Wisconsin back open, and we're ready to get going. But it's going to be a perfect weekend, but we got to keep our speed down. We got to wear our life jackets in our boats. Opening fishing, we had 0 complaints, 0 issues. But
Good.
kids don't float. That's our theme. It's been our theme for several years. When we're in our boats, we got to have our life jackets on our kids. We should all be wearing life jackets. I understand some adults don't because they think they're great swimmers, but you hit the cold water, your canoe tips over and you're in this cold water. I mean, the shock of that really hits your system and you're not as good a swimmer anymore. So it's just things like that we need to remember. That's my job to remind people about, and it's our job to then enforce the speed limit and things like that the legislature passed. We didn't make up the speed limit rules, and we don't make stuff up as we go. We just enforce the rules that are given to us. And so I just appreciate everybody out there having a safe, fun, enjoyable weather weekend. You got any big plans?
Well, usually Friday afternoons, I always like to take the afternoon kind of off and actually just look at comments and just reply to them, just for fun. So usually I like to have, like last Friday, of course, I think it was the Barron County Republican Party had this thing for Tom Tiffany, and it was just it's a freaking ad. It says that all over this thing. But it was Friday, so I had more time because I try to take a little time off on Friday afternoon. So I'll be looking forward to Friday afternoon comments. But in terms of the weekend, no, I really don't. I just saw this morning that it was supposed to be nice out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't have any plans yet.
And so,
I don't know.
but I just hope that everybody gets out, enjoys it, has a great time. Again, appreciate the law enforcement support for the week.
Yeah, thank a cop, man.
Yeah, and that's what it's about. And just go and have some fun, and we'll have a good time together. And I don't know. I don't know what to do either. I don't know what my plans are, but
yeah, it's like Tuesday, so I think about tomorrow. So I'm not really sure.
Trying to see if I have a meeting yet today. But the sun is out. Our domestics aren't up. We did meet with Embrace again. They're self-reporting domestics. We had a couple domestics over the weekend, but nothing real serious. I think we had an OWI over the weekend. Again, nothing real serious. I know they had an OWI last night. A lot of our OWIs, their timing of our OWIs, it's during the day, early evening, which scares me because that's when I'm out for a walk. Our kids are out riding their bikes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like that. We're not seeing our OWIs at 2 a.m. We're seeing them at, last night it was 6 p.m.
Interesting. That's where I would just assume all these come from is 2, 3, 4 in the morning.
No, we had a call, and we appreciate the caller called it in, kept following the vehicle. Our Rice Lake, our sheriff's department and Rice Lake PD were able to stop somebody, and they were arrested on suspicion of drunk driving, doing it. But that was 6 p.m. at night. I just came home from a walk. I was listening. I can monitor all the calls at home, and that's my hobby, is monitoring our calls that happen at night. I got to get a different hobby.
You need that's not a hobby. It's just not.
It is.
It is.
I said it. There, now Facebook can attack us for that.
Oh, that's great. Well, my hobby is reading through comments and making snarky response, or just replying to like that one week. Only thing I replied was with GIFs. Oh, it was just great. Yeah, it's the little things in life, man. Makes it, positive Tuesday. It's whatever makes you smile today, man.
Do it. If it makes you smile, do it. If that means shooting a comment to me, go ahead.
You're awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I love seeing you, as always, Fitzy. No kidding. You got a lot of respect for me and from a lot of people. Keep doing what you're doing, and we'll check in with you soon.
All right. Sounds good. Take care, everybody. Thank you, Cop.
All right, cool. Thanks. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.
All right.